Yo, what is going on, everybody? It's Sportsmaster here, back with another video on the channel. And today, guys, I'm going to be reviewing the wildcard weekend of the 2021 NFL playoffs. This weekend was crazy, and we saw a lot of insane plays in every single game. There was not one game this weekend that was in any way disappointing or a letdown. Every game was really, really good. And yeah, in this video, I'm just going to be looking back and seeing what really happened in the wildcard weekend and what were some reasons that the teams on your screen won their games. So let's go ahead and just start off with the games that happened on Saturday. So the first game we have is the Indianapolis Colts and the Buffalo Bills, the first game of the 6 games this past weekend in the wildcard round. The Bills eked out a victory on the last play of this game. Phillip Rivers launched a bomb on a Hail Mary, and it was unfortunately incomplete. Unfortunate for them. But the Bills, they played a great game. Josh Allen running the ball. He had a lot of designed runs for him. I did notice that. The running backs weren't playing well, so I guess they just had Josh Allen running the ball. And he had a touchdown and over 50 yards. Over 350 yards in total, and 2 passing touchdowns for Allen. But their real X factor was Stefon Diggs in this game. Stefon Diggs had 6 receptions for 128 yards and a touchdown. Cole Beasley also played a good game. It was questionable whether he would play or not heading into the week, but he did play. And another receiver that actually played really well this game was Gabriel Davis. He had a couple big catches along the sideline right before the first half ended to lead them to, that score in the second quarter at the end. But this game for the Colts, Phillip Rivers had a good game. Their running game wasn't too bad. If it weren't for that red zone failed touchdown that they had on 4th down, they weren't able to get the touchdown when they went for it at the Bills 5-yard line on it was like the 1 or 2 yard line actually. But they weren't able to score a touchdown there. Michael Pittman Jr. was not able to get the catch in the back of the end zone. And that was really a big play in this game. But as you can see by the scoreboard in the first, second, third, and fourth quarter, the Colts weren't able to put up anything in the third quarter, which is a big reason why they were not able to win this game. So let's go ahead and move on to our next game of the wild card weekend. So our next game is the Rams and the Seahawks. And in my opinion, this was actually a little bit of a surprise for me. I thought the Seahawks were going to come out and just have control of the game from the beginning, and with Chris Carson, I thought they would run the ball a little bit more than they did. He did have 16 rushes, but I thought they would take a lot more weight off of Russell Wilson, but they did put a lot of pressure on Russ, and their offensive line was not able to protect Russ from Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, and these great Rams pass rushers. Now the Rams, John Holford, he got injured in the first drive of the game for the Rams. They had a really good drive going. Holford gets hurt. Jared Goff comes in, and Goff isn't able to do anything in the first couple drives, but eventually he heats up, has a good game. He did not have to do much because Cam Akers had 28 rushes for 130 yards, which is crazy. Sean McVay had a good game plan ready for this game. Cooper Kupp, 4 receptions, 78 yards. That's great. DK Metcalf, 5 receptions, 96 yards, 2 touchdowns. If Metcalf had a little more production, I think the Seahawks would have had a chance to win this game, but he did all he could, man. He was against Jalen Ramsey, obviously, one of the best corners in the NFL, so you can't really ask too much of him, but man, this was really a surprising game for me. I was not expecting the Rams to win. Even after the second quarter, when the Rams were up 20-10, I still thought the Seahawks could come back. Even after the third quarter, when it was 20-13, at that point, I still thought the Seahawks could come back and maybe win this game, but they just weren't able to. And the Rams went on to win this game, and I don't know how much they're going to do against the Packers, but that's for another video. So the last game that we saw on Saturday, the Saturday night game, was the Buccaneers and Washington football team. And I will say, some of the throws that Tom Brady was making in this game made it look like he was in his prime, but obviously he's in his 40s, but he had some great throws, 380 yards and 2 touchdowns for Tom Brady. And really, when their passing attack is this good and their rushing attack is great, like this great with Leonard Fournette, 19 attempts, 93 yards, and a touchdown, they're really, really hard to stop. They put up 31 against one of the best defenses in the NFL. Could have been more, but Mike Evans had a good game with 6 receptions and 100 yards. Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown had themselves good games, each getting a touchdown. But for Washington, I think this isn't something to be really disappointed at. I mean, this is a year they shouldn't have even made the playoffs. Not many people were expecting them to even make the playoffs and have a chance to even be in this game against the Bucs. After the second quarter was 18-7. Actually, after the third quarter, it was a really close game, and it was an 18-16 game, and you know, it looked like Washington had a chance, but in the fourth quarter, Tom Brady played great. And as I was saying, this isn't a bad loss for Washington by any means, because they might have found their franchise quarterback. I don't know. I mean, it's definitely early. This is only his first real game with Washington. But Taylor Heinicke played a great game. Obviously, we see Alex Smith, but he's going to obviously retire soon and leave Washington maybe even soon. And Taylor Heinicke played a great game. I know he did have that interception, which if he didn't throw that, it would have been an even better game, and Washington might have had a chance to win. But Heinicke had a great game, smart runner, and Cam Sims is also a good receiver. Washington definitely has a bright future, and this isn't a year that you should be disappointed at. But the Buccaneers, everyone was expecting them to win this game. So, yeah, that is the final game on Saturday. So let's go ahead and move on to the games that happen on Sunday, starting with our first one. The Ravens at the Titans. I was predicting that the Ravens were going to win this game, and I was right. Lamar Jackson snags his first playoff win in his NFL career in 3 seasons. He made the playoffs every year, but this is his first win. Passing the ball, Lamar did not look good to start the game, throwing that bad interception where the pass should have been to the outside of Marquise Brown. He threw it to the inside, and it was intercepted. But other than that, this was a great game for Jackson. It literally looked like he didn't even need to pass the ball because he was so good running wise. 1 touchdown, 136 yards on only 16 attempts, which is really good. Receiving wise, Marquise Brown had a good game. We were really waiting for Marquise Brown to break out this year. Had a somewhat disappointing of a season, but this game was great for Brown. And the real story of this game, Derrick Henry averaging not even 3 yards a carry this game, not even 2.5 yards a carry, just over 2 yards a carry average for Henry, 18 attempts for 40 yards, and when you can't run the ball with Henry if you're the Titans, you're gonna have to pass the ball, obviously. And it's hard to do that when your number 2 receiver, Corey Davis, doesn't even get a single catch. A.J. Brown had 6 receptions for 83 yards, which is obviously good, but when your number 2 receiver literally has nothing, just 2 targets, 0 receptions, 0 yards, it's really hard to win a game when you have to pass the ball. Not many teams can win games like that unless you're the Chiefs, who has Tyreek Hill going for 300 yards in a game. But that's a special case. The Titans are not like that. They're not supposed to be a passing offense. And when they can't run the ball, they can't do anything. They need to build a better passing attack, even with A.J. Brown and these good weapons. They need something that just changes their receiving corps. Derrick Henry had 98 yards against the Packers earlier in the season. That's 98. That's not bad at all. That's actually a really solid game. But they couldn't win because he needs more than 98 yards, which is really hard to do every single week, even if you're the best running back in the NFL. But next year, better luck for the Titans. But the Ravens ended up winning this game. So for this next game, it's the Bears and the Saints, the second game that happened on Sunday. Mitch Trubisky had a decent game, 199 yards and 1 touchdown. The real reason the Bears lost, their run game was not able to get going. Allen Robinson, their only real receiving threat, with 55 yards. Drew Brees took a while to get going. In the third and fourth quarter, he really started to get better. 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. Solid game for him. Hopefully he can carry the momentum from this game and play an even better game against the Bucs next week. But Alvin Kamara had another great game. Did not get 100 yards. Everyone was complaining that he didn't get 100 yards. but he did have that 1 touchdown and 23 attempts. The Bears defense played a decent game, and here's a surprising stat line. Deontay Harris, of all receivers, leads the Saints in receiving against the Bears. Not Michael Thomas, not Emmanuel Sanders, not Jared Cook. Deontay Harris, who, if you guys don't know who he is the kick returner for the Saints. This honestly was crazy to me, and I'm kind of surprised not more people aren't talking about this, but definitely deserves to be talked about when you have Drew Brees, who has these great weapons, and he throws to Deontay Harris the most. That's great for him, but this was an obvious win from the beginning. Even though it was 7-3 at halftime, it was obvious that the Saints were going to win. Especially in the third quarter when they had 7 points and the Bears had none. I didn't really get to see the first part of this game, but I do know that Taysom Hill had that one interception, and it was 7-3, low scoring. But when I did get to see the second half, it looked like the Saints offense was in a nice rhythm. They didn't convert a 4th and goal to get up 28-3, but they still won this game 21-9. So now the final game of the wild card weekend. A classic primetime divisional matchup between the Cleveland Browns and the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that first quarter score is not wrong. It's absolutely correct. 28-0 after 1 quarter. The first drive of this game, the first offensive snap for the Steelers, Ben Roethlisberger fumbles the ball, goes to the back of the end zone, and the Browns get a touchdown. James Conner never got going in this game, but he never really got a chance because they had to pass the ball a lot because they fell behind early. Juju had a good game. Hopefully he can carry the momentum into next year. Roethlisberger with the 5 turnovers. That definitely did not help them in a comeback effort. This scoreboard, the Steelers only lost by 11, but trust me, if you guys didn't watch this game, you can't judge it by the scoreboard. The Browns absolutely demolished the Steelers, even if the scoreboard says otherwise. The Browns with Baker Mayfield. Mayfield did not make really any mistakes in this game. 3 touchdowns, 260 yards. Nick Chubb, being Nick Chubb, 18 attempts, 76 yards. Kareem Hunt had a nice game. Jarvis Landry, 92 yards receiving, 1 touchdown. Ever since Odell went down with that injury, Jarvis Landry and Donovan Peoples-Jones have really stepped up. And the Browns are playing Kansas City Chiefs next week. We'll see how that goes. That's going to be a huge test for the Browns, but they're not a joke. You guys can tell. If you didn't believe in them all year, at least you guys should be able to believe in them now. 48 points against the Steelers defense. That's nothing to laugh at. And their defense, the Browns defense, also played a great game. 18 years ago, the last time that the Browns made the playoffs, in the wild card round of that game, the Browns lost to the Steelers. This year, they get a little bit of not redemption really, I guess revenge from, it was 18 years ago. No one who's playing in this game played 18 years ago, but still, it is revenge, and the taste of revenge is nice and sweet. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Comment down below your thoughts on the NFL playoffs. If you have a favorite team that's in the playoffs, comment down below if they lost in the wild card round or won in the wild card round. And if you're just a casual NFL fan who's not a fan of any team, or your team didn't make the playoffs, just comment down below who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. But that's it for today's video. Have a good rest of your day. Peace out.